Hey everybody, this is the newly released Amazon Halo Band. Now, Amazon doesn't use the word fitness anywhere on the box, but let's be honest, this is a fitness tracker, or it's Amazon's version of a fitness device. So I'm going to tell you what I think about this. This is an early release. I've been a long-time user of fitness watches, fitness bands. This is actually the Amazon Halo Band right here. For over 10 years, I've worn devices on during marathons, during training, during triathlon training, and so on. So I've got some pretty good exposure into kind of what I want to see out of these devices. I've also used them for things like weight loss, what general well-being, step tracking, stairs climbing, just all around physical health. And there are some mental health aspects to this one as well. So we're going to take a look at all of that and a little bit more coming up right after this. Alright, so first things first, let's see what we get. So on the box, it says, hey, swim proof, 24/7 heart rate, and always getting smarter. Alright, what's included? Get your fabric band minus charcoal, the sensor of course, a charging clip, 6-month Halo membership. This is important. They're going to start charging a monthly subscription fee at some point on this, and they're going to try to monetize it as a subscription model. And then, of course, encouragement also in the box. We'll see about that. But let's get it open. Thank you, Apple, for changing the world by creating these pull tabs that we all have on our new packaging these days. It's awesome. Yes, guys, I realize this isn't an Apple device, but they started that whole thing. All right. In the box. Oh, awesome. More plastic pull tabs. Better be a letter from Jeff Bezos telling me not to be a fat ass. Alright, here we go. Actually, the band is a little bit smaller than what's depicted, so just to give you an idea here, right? Let's say I'm pretty average build. About 155 to 160, depending on what I had to eat and how much beer I drank for the week. But here you go. These do come in 3 sizes. This is the medium. Alright, so not too bad there. Let's take a look at what else is in the box. This is, by the way, a Velcro clasp system. Alright, also in the box, some instructions. Charging cable thingy and some weird looking clip with, surprise, more plastic crap. Awesome. Wow, this looks dangerous. Alright, but I don't see any encouragement in the box, so, you know. Alright, let's see what's in this thing. Still looking for my encouragement. Alright, so, yeah, meet your band, meet your charger clip, blah, blah, blah. How to charge, get the app, of course. Alright, so I'll read this off camera. Oh, there is a microphone on it. Shows you how that whole thing works. And the button, which lets you analyze conversations. Okay, that is a little bit creepy, but I'm interested in trying the app out just to see how it works. Alright, oh, there's my encouragement. Be well. Okay, so they weren't lying. On the back is a bunch of legal bullcrap that nobody cares about, and almost no one reads. And if you do read it, you're probably the attorney that wrote it, and you're just proud of yourself. Okay, so let's get this thing plugged in, and I will be back with more info. Alright, so this is the charging clip. I am going to plug this USB port in, and I'm going to attempt to
get it charging. And it says that you're supposed to insert the clip with a button. I would assume that's this, facing out. And let's see how this works. Alright, and then supposedly there's going to be a, oh, there it is, little white light that comes on that lets me know that it's charging. Yep. Oh, went off, came on, went off, came on. Great, okay, so I'm pretty sure that means that it's charging. So we're going to let that charge. I'm going to set it out of the way here. And the next step is to go get the app. Amazon Halo app on your smartphone and follow the instructions to set up your device. Okay. Alright, so I have an Android device here. I'm sure it's similar for iOS, but I'm just going to search for Amazon Halo. Alright, we're going to hit install. We're going to let that go and we'll be right back to check it out. Alright, so I got the Halo app installed. Let's get it rocking here. Okay, connect what you do to how you feel. Set up your band, alright? Oh, gotta sign into my Amazon account. Be right back. Alright, so I've logged in. Picking myself here. Oh boy, gotta set my birth date. Alright. Okay, so now I gotta set my height. Let's see, I'm 5'11". I'm sure it's gonna ask my weight. Yep. So we're gonna go 160 right now. And I choose male. I identify as a male. Oh, now it wants my mobile number, which I am not going to show you. Okay, so after verifying my mobile number, it's taking us through a little video here, which basically shows you guys what I just did. Do note that the top part here is rounded, so the band can only go in one way. They do a good job of explaining that here. So we're going to plug it in, we're going to line up the connection points, we've already done that, and then we get the white blinking light that shows it's ready to pair. We already have that, and I'm going to tap next. Oh, now, yep. So, yeah, we'll allow it. And it's going to search for my band. Oop, looks like it found it. And then I'm going to tell it it's okay to pair and connect. Alright, okay. Alright, Halo membership, free 6 months, blah, 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 automatically renew, and we're going to charge a credit card that we have on file with Amazon because you gave us your whole identity because Amazon. Alright. And, oh, looks like we got a firmware update, so we're going to let that go, and then I will be back as soon as this is done. Alright, so now that the firmware update is done, it's telling me to put this thing on. It's not done charging, but I'm going to go ahead and go through with this. So I'm going to wear to my right. So it says make sure the button faces me. That's up my arm. Slide the band just above your wrist bone. So the band is about 2 fingers width from your wrist. And tighten until snug. Alright, let's see if we can pull this off. So button facing up. And let's see if we can get this Velcro. It does have a nice little stop, a plastic stop on the end to keep the band from sliding all the way open, which is a well thought out feature, I think, if you've ever had to deal with Velcro straps. So, sorry. Alright, sorry guys for fumbling around there with the camera. That's pretty snug. It's not super snug. I'm going to say continue. Continue. Alright, finishing band setup. Great, I accomplished a check mark. And you're all set.
Here are some features to get the most out of your Halo experience. Tone analyzes qualities of your voice, like energy and positivity throughout the day. This helps you understand how you might be perceived by others. A daily summary lets you discover trends in the way you communicate with friends, family, and coworkers. And knowing how you sound helps you make choices that keep your relationship strong. Body composition uses your smartphone's camera to analyze your body fat percentage. A better measure of health than a scale alone. A personalized 3D model helps you track changes over time. Activity score measures not only steps and sedentary time, but also the intensity of the activities themselves. After all, shouldn't taking stairs 2 at a time count more than one? Sleep score helps you understand the quantity and quality of your sleep. It looks at things like how long it takes you to doze off, or how often you wake up in the middle of the night. Simple challenges and experiments help you find new ways to feel your best, like seeing if less alcohol means less snoring, or if sunlight helps kickstart your day. Discover more by exploring the app.
All right.
Here are some features to get the most out of your Halo experience.
Thanks for that. I'm going to charge this band up, test it out, and we might start with the less alcohol segment coming up.
All right, so you might be wondering why some guys with a parts counter video channel are doing a fitness tracker video. And well, the answer is really simple. Health is important. I've been using these things for about a decade, like I said before. And you know, really, if you're not factoring that into your life, regardless of what you're a fan of, you're kind of doing yourself a disservice. So after using this for a little while, here are my initial thoughts. Okay, so the concept of this one is a little bit different than your traditional fitness bands. And by that, I mean it is a true fitness band. So if you're somebody like, as I'm gonna compare it to maybe a Fitbit, where it's very calorie focused, this is not at all. They do not, in fact, offer any way in the app as of right now to track calories. It's a total body fitness program. It tracks things like sleep, it tracks your voice tone, we'll get into that in a minute, and it tracks things like your activity, but it doesn't run that up against a calorie counter to compare your burn. So if that's important to you, this may not be the right match. With healthy habits being the key here, we're gonna focus on long-term improvement. They do give you a 6-month subscription that's included with the band to Amazon's cloud service that uses things basically to suggest activities to you, workouts. It's got all kinds of integrated features, but you're gonna want that if you have the band. And so just keep that in mind. It's a really generous term. Honestly, 6 months is longer than I would have expected, so that is a nice feature. So as I previously mentioned, sleep and activity are also tracked. Now, almost every fitness band does track those, so that's not really anything new or different. But it is important to remember that those are just kind of necessary components to the bigger picture. So as far as the activity tracking system goes, that's on a point system, and it's typically a weekly point score that you're trying to reach. In fact, I'm winning points right now by doing this, and you can go into the app and look and see what your daily points total is, moving yourself toward that weekly goal. So instead of going towards a number of steps per day, again, that's typically more up against a calorie burn type situation. They're gonna work on a point system. So it's a little bit different, it's not bad. But again, it's more for somebody that's not really a fan of displays. Like my podcast partner, Jay, I think actually might be a great target audience for something like this. He probably doesn't care about counting calories. It would probably honestly stress him out to think about that. And you know, he's not out running, but he does go for a daily walk, and he's really into a lot of the mental wellness side of being outdoors. So that might be a good fit for a product like this. Some of the common complaints I see against this device, and to be honest, I was curious about this myself and wanted to kind of check out the features to see if it was going to be a factor, and that's privacy. There are two things that this whole ecosystem does differently than any other wearable fitness device I've ever used. And those are something called, what they call tone, which tracks your voice tone. It has a microphone on it, and it does listen to your tone of voice every day. And the other thing it does is a full body scan. It uses the camera on your smartphone to do that. And it's looking at you basically in your underwear, and it's taking a picture of you for body fat composition. And I believe the goal there is that over that long term, remember we're playing the long game here, it's long-term wellness, they're going to use those imaging results to compare what you look like week over week. So again, remember that's for long-term purposes. Now, it's important to note that those are both optional and you do not have to enable those. So if you don't want this device listening in on you, or you don't want to submit pictures of yourself, you don't have to. You can use it without that. You're just not going to have as many of the features that are going to help you towards your end goal of wellness. So we mentioned earlier that there's no display on this device. It's all done through the interface on your smartphone. I do want to show you what this looks like up close. There's literally only one button and two lights on it. So here's that one button, and then there's a light on each side. And this button actually works as a mute button to turn off some of those conversations. And you can see the blue light flashing there. Now, if I tap it once like I just did, it's going to listen to my tone. If I hold the button in for 3 seconds, the light will turn red, and that is a muted feature. And then if I hold the button in again for another 3 seconds, the light should go green, and that will show me that I'm unmuted. So that's it. That's really the only thing that the button on this device does. There's very little that you have to do in interfacing with the device directly. So in the app ecosystem itself, Amazon uses a component called labs. Now, labs are different things. They can be workouts. Essentially, they're mind and body wellness exercises. So there's breathing exercises, there's Headspace, which is a separate app, things that'll like help you fall asleep better, there's calming music, different exercises basically for your wellness. So labs are an interesting and a pretty important component of this device and the software, because without those, you don't really have any activities for self-betterment. So who is this a good fit for? Well, if you're somebody that is annoyed by having to count calories on a daily basis, it might be a good fit for you. I will say if you've never had that experience and you don't understand just the base level of calorie burn compared to calorie intake, and knowing sort of what your daily average needs to be, you should at least expose yourself to that. But if you're not going to do it every day, this might be a good fit for you. If you already have a smartwatch, but you don't want to exercise in it, this might be a good fit for you. It is swim proof, so that's something to consider. If you're somebody that needs to track sleep, but you don't want to wear a watch to bed, that might be something to consider because it's smaller. If you like a nice dress watch and you don't want to wear a smartwatch, because these can work on separate hands, that might be a category or a feature that you might want to consider. They do come in different colors. I just chose the charcoal black one. And I would also like to point out that they do suggest that you wear it above your wrist bone. And the reason for that is that the measurements that it takes for things like heart rate, it's going to do a better job up here. So those are some factors to consider in terms of, is this thing worth it, or is it better than one of the competitors, for example, a Fitbit?
Hey everybody, so just wanted to insert a quick segment here after having put a couple solid weeks of data through this band, learned a lot about it, had a chance to observe kind of some of the specifics of it, and it's pretty clear to me that this is at best a first attempt at this point. I wanted to like it. I did everything I could here to give it a fair chance. There are some things that it does pretty well, and you know, we've talked about those. I'm going to talk about those just a little bit more, but in general, with the concept and the focus of this band being on self-betterment, there's not really any particular area, not one area that it just shines in. And honestly, there isn't anything that this band does better or the same as any of the other fitness bands that are already out on the market. There's not a compelling reason for me to buy this compared to, for example, a Fitbit or a Garmin. There isn't anything that it can do better for me. Now, that may not be true for everyone, and that's where kind of some of the specifics and the details will matter. One of the unique features that this band has is the recording feature that they call Tone, where it analyzes your various voice patterns. And I've mentioned that already. And it's just odd. So I can trigger the device to record, or I can just allow it to kind of pick and choose on its own. And if I tap the button, it'll start a recording. But the difficult part is when I see the feedback where it shows me that I sounded a certain way at 1:15 p.m., I have to go back and try to remember who I was talking to at that point and what I was saying. Because at least that I could find, or couldn't find, I should say, I could not find a way to play back that recording. So I'm literally just assuming that the thing is accurate. I don't have a way, there's no point of reference for what the device actually heard. So that's a little odd. Again, this is very much a first attempt at this band, and I'm sure some of these features will improve. This is an early access version, but right now it just doesn't have it for me. Another thing about the tone feature that drives me crazy is just the amount of battery that it drinks. If you have tone enabled, I couldn't get more than, I wouldn't even get 2 full days of battery life out of the band. And once you tell the app to go ahead and allow tone, to turn that feature on, the only way you can turn it off is by muting the band itself. There's no way to go back into the app on your smart device and say, disable the tone feature. So that needs to be worked out, and I'm sure it will in the future, but right now, it's kind of a pain to have it enabled because of how quickly it drinks the battery. Also, I haven't seen any utilization of the tone feature while I'm sleeping. So there was some mention in the product documentation that, you know, it might detect bedtime noises or snoring, for example, but I never saw that to be true. At least I couldn't figure out how to turn it on, and I couldn't find anything in the actual user information to enable that, although it did reference that or allude to it in some of the documentation, so that might be in the works, but as of right now, it's not there. So as I was using it, I was trying to think, well, who might this be a good fit for? There's no specific calorie counting, there's no distance tracking or specific fitness activity tracking. So that really writes off a good segment of the fitness tracker market. Maybe for somebody that's into meditation or yoga or a little bit more passive activities, it might work well. I can see that being the case, as it does offer some of those just kind of general cardio type activities and yoga type activities. So that's good to keep in mind. But in general, it's just not up to par yet with some of the other fitness bands on the market for the price. There's just not one compelling feature or reason that this device offers that the others don't. And so just wanted to offer that as kind of an inset to some of my previous comments now that I've had a lot more experience with the device.
All right, everybody, hope you've enjoyed this. Hope it's been helpful. If it has, please consider giving us a thumbs up, hitting that subscribe button, just like that. And check out our website, partscounterguru.com. We've got a podcast, a lot of great articles, links to other videos. We've got a YouTube channel, which you're probably watching right now. And we would appreciate that very much. Again, thanks everybody, and we'll see you next time. Alexa, play the Parts Counter Gurus podcast.